Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video with Swaggle-Haas. Today's video, we need to talk about comic book liquidity. Ooh, interesting topic, Swag. Interesting topic. Comic book liquidity. Pop quiz hot shot. If I had to sell my Tales of Suspense 57, first appearance of Hawkeye, and also sell my Silver Surfer #1, first Silver Surfer series, and also sell my Amazing Spider-Man 300, first appearance of Venom, first full appearance of Venom, second appearance of Venom. What do you guys think? Which book do you think would sell first? They're all valued around the same price point, so it's the same budget for all collectors out there. Well, in this video, we got to talk about that, and we got to talk about this idea of comic book liquidity, and also do an unboxing for a book that I feel like is very, very liquid out there in the market. But before I get into it, if you guys could drop me a like, comment, subscribe if you're enjoying the content, helps support the channel and doing those things I would appreciate. But let's get into this video here today. Now, first things first, we got to do our undoing of the box. Undoing of the box. This is a comic book. Guys, don't get too excited. It's not this isn't crazy. You know, I didn't break the bank with this one. I didn't go, a crazy McGee over here. But I did pick up a comic book that is just a cool book. It's a book that I wanted on my wish list for 2023. A book I've had a couple times before, actually, but I just wanted it back, and I wanted it back. And this isn't the most sexy unboxing you've ever seen, on any YouTube channel, but I wanted to figure out a way to frame the conversation that might provide some value back to you while also showing you. Oh, look at this! I got a bonus book. Oh, that's interesting. All right. Let's do this first. Let's talk about this. All right, the book that I am unboxing, which is a book that I actually picked up from Flip Mode. If you guys happen to have watched my previous video where I did my Silver Surfer unboxing, the Silver Surfer #3, I also got this book from Flip Mode. And side note, they did a massive collection find that maybe I want to do videos about that. But let's talk about this book. First book I got from them is Uncanny X-Men #141. The Days of Future Past storyline, first appearance of Pyro and Avalanche. Everyone always talks about this book as being, it's the classic story and da-da-da-da-da. And yeah, it's definitely a classic story, but I like it because it's the first appearance of Pyro and Avalanche. That's why I wanted it back in my collection. A little bit of a complaint here to Flip Mode. Obviously, they make my unboxings not so cool because they already put the price on it, but you guys can see highish grade, near mint minus or so. Got it for $95. And look at this. They also threw in this free bonus book. Check that out. Thank you for the shout out. Batman Adventures Annual #1. That's a pretty cool book. What is this? I think this is the second appearance of Harley Quinn, right? Or third appearance of Harley Quinn. One of her first appearances right there. So cool Harley Quinn book. Hey, very, very cool. I'll have to pay it forward. I guess there are some perks to having a YouTube channel. But let's get back to the conversation here. All right. I bought this book. I really like this because of Pyro and Avalanche. Me, I like my B tier villains. And this is a book that, I feel like I always need to have this in my collection. I always end up selling my copies. But this one is going to, it's going to stay with me. I'm going to hold on to this one for a little bit because I like it. Because I like it. And, this is an interesting book because this is one of those books that I'm not the only one that likes it. A lot of people like it. This is a book that I find very liquid out there in the comic book market. You always see this book up for sale. You always see people claiming it. You always see this book in demand. And that's kind of where I want to talk about, sort of the main topic of this video, which is this idea of, how liquid are your comic books really? I knew I needed to do an unboxing for this, but I figured, how do I fill up a video? And, when I bought this, it made me really, really start to think about, comic book liquidity and stuff like that. And I really wanted to kind of show you guys some interesting things. When you're talking about comics that are always desired in the market, there really seems to be two factors at play here. Number one is how popular is the character? Spider-Man, Batman, X-Men seems to be the three comics. Anytime you have a key for those characters, it's always going to be desired in the market. There are just that many collectors that are constantly looking to buy those books, and therefore they're going to be liquid, which again, in case you didn't figure it out by now, ASM 300 is the answer to the pop quiz question. There are just more people looking for ASM books, Venom, than there are that of people looking to pick up Hawkeye. As much as I love Hawkeye, his comic book is just never going to be as liquid as some of the other books out there in the collection. And I wanted to kind of back this up with a little bit of statistics like we like to do here on the channel. And that's to pull up the Go Collect website, which again, Go Collect, not a perfect website when it comes to the data, but I can also corroborate this with statistics that I've gotten from the Shortbox app. And you can see just like what types of books, what types of characters are selling. But, if you go into their back end and you look at the market overview, you can see hottest comics. Of course, we do the hottest comics of the week all the time here on the channel. And if you just sort by all, what do you see right here as the top most desired bought comics out there in the market? If we just go past 30 days and I look at the top 20, what do you see? Spider-Boy, Spider-Man 7, Ramos variant, Spider-Man, Spawn, Venom, Marvel Superhero Secret Wars, which, is effectively a Spider-Man book, Wolverine, kind of an X-Men book, Spider-Man, New Mutants, an X-Men book, ASM 300, a Spider-Man, Star Wars 1, Amazing Spider-Man 252, Uncanny X-Men 266, Wolverine #1, Spider-Man 2099, ASM 361, there's a different one, Moon Knight, Ultimate Fallout 4, another Spider-Man book with Punisher, another Spider-Man book, 365, and then Infinity Gauntlet #1. Now, these numbers can be a little misleading, right? Because we're talking about volume here. And so obviously, if there's just more printed Copper Age books on the market, then just by sheer numbers, more of them are going to be sold, thus making them seem more liquid out there in the market. Because we, of course, we have to table the conversation and talk a little bit about Golden Age. There are Golden Age books that you could argue are the absolute most liquid out there in the market because certain books, have such a low census that when they come onto market, everyone is going to jump on that opportunity because it's the one time that you can possibly capitalize and buy this book. If it's something that, only goes on sale once every 2 or 3 years, then, someone is instantly going to buy it, assuming that it's priced right. But putting that to the side, my God, are we in Desert Storm right now? What the hell is that? It's a massive army helicopter that just flew over my house. That was pretty wild. Anyways, putting that to the side, if we're talking about what books out there are always going to sell in the market, you have to think to those key characters. And also, I would actually say that anecdotally, at least speaking, and I think if you talk to any comic book dealer, they will always tell you this, the Copper Age and a lot of the modern stuff that is related to Spider-Man often gets sold a lot faster out there in the market than that of some of the, Silver Age stands has-beens, as I like to describe them as being, in my previous whiteboard video. So that's kind of something that is really interesting to think about. If you're somebody who is thinking, oh, you want to invest in a book, like let's say you had whatever it was, $700, $1,000 to spend on a comic book. Well, you could get an ASM 300, and let's say you needed to get that money back out as fast as possible in the event of an emergency or whatever it is. Hopefully you never have to sell your books for that reason. You would be much better positioned to do it with an ASM book than if you were to do it with, say, Tales of Suspense 57, first appearance of Hawkeye. That's just sort of the nature of the beast and interesting food for thought. Or similarly, you could do it with an X-Men key as well, because there's always going to be collectors looking for those X-Men books. Now, granted, when you're talking about Copper Age, now you run the risk of being undercut because there's so many books out there in the market. So your money might be better protected if you put it into a Silver Age book, although based on where we are in the current state of the market, a lot of those things have been changing. But let me just show you guys, just to kind of nail this point home, if you sort by the most sold comics in the past 30 days, hell, let's even flash this back to past 365 days, just to give us like a bigger sample size, because it's hard to compete with Spider-Boy, obviously out there in the market right now, because Spider-Boy is the future and anyone that has any amount of money should be investing in Spider-Boy. That is a complete joke, and I'm just kind of rambling right now to make sure that this website gets updated. All right, so most bought and sold books out there in the market, if you just sort by the past year, what do you see? Spawn #1 is the #1. That, of course, has to do with what I was talking about with the volume, but also the popularity of the character. Venom, Lethal Protector, Spider-Man book, Spider-Man book, Spider-Man book, all the Spider-Man books, Wolverine, She-Hulk's out in there, Spider-Man, more X-Men, more Spider-Man, more X-Men, Spider-Man, X-Men, Star Wars, X-Men, Spider-Man, Secret Wars, Moon Knight. All right, let's just kind of flip through here and see, when do we actually get to a Silver Age book? You know, how far down the list do we have to go until we start to see Silver Age books out there? Well, right now we're in the 34th slot. There's a big Bronze Age key. You know, we're starting to get to, the top 40 here. But again, we still have to keep going to see, which books actually get sold out there. We see an Eternals 1, obviously still moving out there in the market. And Giant Size X-Men 1, Submariner 1, still no Silver Age. All right, there we go. And you have to get to 54 and 55 to get to Fantastic Four 48 and Fantastic Four 52. First Silver Surfer, first Black Panther. Now, again, this is not me to suggest that, Copper Age books are 100% better investments than that of Silver Age books or anything like that. I'm just kind of showing you guys an interesting thing that, I think you can see empirically to be true, anecdotally to be true, and then statistically true, that the Copper Age books do get bought more often than that of the Silver books. But, again, I think that also has to do a lot with the census and the volume that is out there. But it also has to do a lot with the demand, because people have nostalgia for all those 80s and 90s copper keys, like this one right here, X-Men 141. And also, while I'm talking about it, Batman Annual #1. Very, very liquid books out there in the market because of the member berries. But anyways, that's all I got for this video. That was me talking about liquidity in comics while doing my unboxing. Let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think about liquidity in comic books? Obviously, in the greater scheme of assets, I would never classify comics as being a good liquid asset. I think that comics are a little more sticky. Obviously, it's not too hard to sell them. But when we're talking about, comparing them to stocks per se, like, obviously stocks with one click of a button, a lot easier to sell. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Drop me a like, comment, subscribe if you're enjoying the content. See you all in the next video.